A stern warning about climate change and the huge economic risks for American businesses and investors. Now, don't think it's just another warning and just another report. This one comes from a coalition of prominent business leaders and former presidential cabinet members. Leading the way, former Treasury Secretary Hank Paulson, who managed the financial crisis in the Bush administration. In their report, Risky Business, they describe the risks of climate change as more severe and catastrophic than the housing crisis, and the costs in the hundreds of billions of dollars. They also say U.S. businesses are in the dark about the dangers and are urging them to take action now to reduce the impact of climate change. Earlier today, I talked with Hank Paulson and began by asking him, how much time do we have before we're really hit with the climate crisis?
It's both immediate and it's decades away. So this crisis is a threat to our economy. It's not a financial threat, but it's a real threat to our economy. And in many ways, it's more cruel and perverse than the housing bubble, because once CO2 is in the atmosphere, it's there for many centuries. And so there's no possibility of the government to come in at the very end and take action and avoid the very worst outcomes.
What do you want American businesses precisely to do?
First of all, I want investors to demand that American businesses make more disclosures about their CO2 emissions, make more disclosures about risks that they face, risks from stranded assets. I want businesses to make long-term investments that protect them, protect their shareholders, because the investments they make today are going to be key to protecting our economy in the future.
Now, you're calling on a national tax on carbon emissions. How would that fix the problem?
The key thing is, until you put a price on carbon, until you charge companies that pollute for the cost of pollution, it's going to be very difficult to deal with this problem.
Some people would say that a carbon tax is coming at a time that the U.S. and global economies are struggling to grow. Yeah. So what's the trade-off between the risk to U.S. economic growth and the risk of a climate crisis? Which is more important?
Well, I think that's a false trade-off, because I think a healthy economy and a healthy environment are opposite sides of the same coin. I think that you could structure a carbon tax so that it allowed us and encouraged us to remain competitive.
Let's talk a little bit about the U.S. economy. Wall Street is very concerned about inflation and higher interest rates. How concerned are you?
My big concern is growth, and sustainable growth above 2%. Inflation isn't my big concern today. Our economy has been growing at 2% roughly since the third quarter of 2009. And I think to accelerate growth, we're going to need bipartisan structural reform. We're going to need immigration reform. We're going to need tax reform, tax system that gives us the revenues we need and allows us to create jobs.
But as Federal Reserve Chair Janet Yellen keeps interest rates super low, is that helping or hurting the economy and growth?
Yeah, I'm not going to comment on monetary policy and what Fed officials are saying. I just really believe that of course, we need to get back to a world where asset prices are set by the real economy, not set by monetary policy.
I just want to look around the world at key countries and get a few words from you on how they impact us. First of all, China, weak, slow growth. What does it mean for the U.S. and our economy?
China has a growth model which has run out of steam. They need to reform their economy, and if they do so, and I'm optimistic that they will do so over time, this will be beneficial to the United States.
What about weak growth in Europe?
Obviously, weak growth in Europe is not good for the United States economy, but the European economy is doing a bit better now.
Rising tensions in Iraq?
Rising tensions in Iraq demonstrate that that Islamist terrorists haven't gone away. They're very determined, they're very organized, and that's a significant threat to the stability of the world and the global economy.